Hello and welcome to a new video, and today we're at Whilton for round number 3 of the Club 100 Junior Super Lightweight season. Last round went really well at GYG, getting a 3rd place in the final. Really enjoyed it, and today hopefully we can get some more points and hopefully maybe climb to the top of the rankings, as we're actually currently sitting in 2nd place in the championship, so looking to go up maybe, so let's see how it goes. And the main new point of this weekend at Whilton is that final sector. It's actually like a chicane now instead of a huge monster curve. So it should be quite interesting to see how that goes. So we are now going out for our first practice session round this new Whilton layout, so it should be quite interesting to see how this one goes. So, well, we need to almost relearn that entire final sector, as you know that new chicane really mixes everything up. You have to take a completely different line through the few corners before, and it actually extends the lap time by about, I think, 2 or 3 seconds a lap, so slightly longer lap now at Whilton, and it really brings the speeds down going around that final sector. As you can see now, I have to stay relatively tight going around this bit, and the kart really grips up on this new tarmac, and then you turn it in, and you really just got to try and be nice and smooth and not really slide, because if you slide going around that new tarmac, it really bogs the kart down and you really lose a lot of speed and momentum, which really compromises you going all the way down this straight going towards Christmas corner. So it's really important that you get that final chicane nailed. And not really that much happened in this practice session, but I let Max Davis go past as he did the pre-event testing. So I wanted to follow him and see where I was losing time or where I was gaining time actually. And I noticed that the final sector was still quite slow for me, and most of the lap I was losing a bit of time. He was really locking up the brakes, as you can see there, almost tyre smoke coming out the rear of his kart, so he's really stomping on the brakes to get it turned in. But yeah, I started to get used to the final sort of sector, and except right there I ran really wide, which, as you can just see, I lost quite a bit of time on the exit, so make sure not to run that exit curb. And like super quickly, practice was over, and yeah, lots to learn and definitely know where I can improve, and yeah, lots to improve going into qualifying. So that was practice, went pretty well, P4 overall, only like 2/10 off first, so not too bad. Definitely know where I can improve. The new chicane I'm really slow at, so I need to improve that, but I think I know my strong points are Christmas on the brakes, really good there. But through the chicane, just need to go in slower and just maximise the exit speed, because that's where I'm losing it all. Lots to learn going into Quali. Yeah, hopefully just figure out how to take that final corner. And after that funky audio recording just then, we are going straight out for qualifying. And I definitely know where I can improve on, and look back at the GoPro footage during that little break. But sadly, quite early on into the session, we get our old nemesis, yellow flag, which actually happened at GYG before, and I'm sort of getting flashbacks for when that happened before, so hopefully that's not going to affect the qualifying too much, and we are going to go yellow flag for most of this lap, and I think we lost like quite a lot of time in this session to yellow flags, but we eventually go back to green flag, and we are back to racing pace, and going around the final chicane, starting to get it sorted out. But you see the rear end sort of sliding out, sort of shows the tyre temps were a bit too cold, and I actually decided that the guy behind me was a bit quicker, so I let him past, and that actually seemed to work out well for me, as you will see on my fastest lap of my qualifying session.
Takes it by 54.942.
So that was qualifying. Actually went really well. P1 in group. I was P2 for most of the session, but the guy behind me was in P1 and he was getting the slipstream off me, so we actually worked really well together. On the last lap I was like, okay, I probably should hang back and then get the slipstream, which I did, and I managed to set a pretty decent lap time. Probably could have got a bit quicker, to be honest, but yeah, it went pretty well. Hope that will definitely be A1. I'm not sure where, maybe top 10. Really depends on the other groups, but it's quite annoying that we got a yellow flag midway through the session, as that caused the tyres to sort of cool down. But yeah, pretty good qualifying. How did qualifying go?
It didn't go too bad. I have the pace, it's just I felt like the traffic and the 6 minutes of yellow flags didn't help.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can put that into your words.
Yeah, definitely.
But you did well. You might be pole.
I don't think I'll be pole. I think I'll be up there because obviously the tyres got a bit colder because of the yellows. But
I mean, it'll be interesting in the pre-final. I'm not sure like where I'm going to start. I think most likely a final, but
yeah,
I'm just fingers crossed for top 10. Anywhere below that, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Hopefully it goes well.
Yeah. Come on board with me for a hot lap around Whilton on a scooter.
And me.
And Joe Castro.
So that was qualifying. Qualified P2 overall, so actually went really well, you know. Super close out there, except George put in a stonking lap and ended up coming first, 3/10 quicker than I was, so that might be down to track conditions because I had that yellow flag sadly, but really happy to get a podium place to start off the A final. Yeah, so it was a good job that I actually got that slipstream that last lap, but yeah, see what we can do and hopefully we can make up even more places going into the final. So now going out for the pre-A final, starting P2 alongside George Palmozzi, who put in a rapid lap time in his session. So definitely have some quick people in front and behind of me. So we're going to come round the final corner of the lap, making sure to stay in those tram lines, waiting for the light to turn green, stay behind George, and it's green flag and away we go. Or actually green light actually. And George gets a really good start and he holds P1 and we have to slot in behind him. we get a little check behind the shoulder just to check that no one's going to send it down our inside. So we take the normal racing line, and we seem to already be catching George a little bit on the exits, which sort of shows his kart might have been a bit slower. He goes defensive, which is actually going to compromise his exit speed, as you can see. We're going to try get the switchback around here, but now we're going to be on the outside for this corner, and we're going to try doing a double switchback. And now we've got the inside going into Ozier's, and we're going to send one up the inside, and we're into the race lead of the pre-A final. And then now, all I'm thinking is I just need to push, and just try not to defend, and just try and build a gap from the guys behind. Because sort of once you're out of like a few kart lengths, they lose the slipstream, which means that it's easier to pull away. So on these first few laps after I get into the race lead, I just need to push as hard as I can to try and build that gap up. Obviously the tyre temps are still a little bit cold, so it's going to be quite difficult to drive on these first few laps, but the tyre temps will come pretty quickly, and yeah, just need to push as hard as we possibly can to keep this race lead and this pre-A final win alive. And after quite a lot of laps just pushing as hard as I could, I checked behind, I think like once or so, and I just saw the gap was probably around, I think 4 seconds or so, and by that time I sort of knew, yeah, I've probably got this one in the bag. So just no silly mistakes, just clean, consistent driving, not pushing too hard, but just trying to just pump out these decently quick laps. And we come round the final chicane, and I'm going to come across the line, and I'm going to take my first ever win.
He's going to cross the line and take the win in the pre-A final.
And yeah,
and there is
super happy with that result, and yeah, can't wait until the final.
It's third with how the penalties have applied. Max Davies might actually get 4.
So that was the pre-final, and yeah, first win ever in Club 100 Juniors. So really happy with that. Yeah, made the move on George quite early on in the race. I think the first lap actually. Got a nice switchback and then went underneath him. But then yeah, just didn't look back. Just kept pushing. I wouldn't say I was like doing the best laps. I was just trying to be consistent and not make too many mistakes. But I think I figured out the last chicane now. It's a shame that George's kart just wasn't really on the pace, because that's why I pulled away so much. I think I have 3-4 second gap, so quite a decent sized gap. But yeah, really happy with this first win, but hopefully we can hold that position for the final where we start pole, and yeah, hopefully it goes well. So going into the A final, I'm starting on pole position, and I'm going to try and hold it to try and get my first ever trophy A final win, try and make it a double win in a row. Got a great start actually, George having to go a bit defensive and hold off the drivers behind, and there's a lot of squabbling behind, and this is all good for me as I'm going to just try and pull away as much as I can, as early as I can in this race, because once you're out the slipstream, you've got, it's quite easy to pull away once you're out of sort of, I'd say maybe 7-8 tenths is sort of the amount you need to sort of start to pull away quite a lot. And there's a lot of lawn mowing going on behind, which is definitely going to not help those drivers going wide. And I look behind after a few corners, and I've got like a little lead, but not too big of a lead. A few laps later, that lead's probably, I'd say about just under a second, yeah, I think around 8 tenths of a second, and George's having to go a bit defensive from Jamie Tyler-Gooden, and I think they're starting to realise that they need to work together to actually catch up to me, because this is what they did before, and Jamie Tyler-Gooden goes for a mad move up the inside, fair play to him, and he managed to hold it, and somehow, yeah, didn't wipe him out, to be fair. And yeah, they actually start to work together, and you'll be able to see they start to catch up. And yeah, I seem to really struggle with this kart in the final. Definitely didn't seem quite on the pace as the kart before, but I was definitely pushing as hard as I possibly could. But yeah, it made for quite an interesting race, as you will see.
Where did that come from?
So a few laps later, George was right on my tail, and I knew he was going to go for a move very shortly. So I decided to go a bit defensive into Christmas corner, because I knew he was probably going to send one up the inside. But a few corners later, he actually managed to get the move done. So going defensive actually made my run out the corner so slow, he was able to overtake me and yeah, take the race lead. And now I'm just going to try and focus on keeping sort of up with him, because I sort of knew my kart didn't seem to be quite on it.
The question is,
but as you can see, I'm getting caught up by Jamie Gooden quite quickly, so I'm going to just try and sort of keep up with George, but I think it's going to be very difficult to regain the race lead, as I just don't seem to have the pace as I did before, which is quite annoying. But as you can see, a few laps later, I'm actually caught up to George a little bit, as Jamie was sort of bump drafting me down the entire straight. As you can see, sitting the fastest lap of the race, 55.1. As you can see, sort of keeping up with George actually. So gained a bit of time back on him, but I'm going to struggle to keep up this pace, I think. As if I didn't have Jamie behind, I would sort of get dropped. And you could see a few laps later, Jamie actually sends one down the inside. Lovely move by him, and he goes into second place, and we go back down to third place. And as you could already see, Jamie is starting to fly away from me. He was really quick this race, so props to him for doing really well. But now I'm going to try and just use his slipstream, sort of be tone along, and try and catch up to George with Jamie Gooden. As you see, I've sort of been dropped by Jamie Gooden by quite a fair bit, and Dom Balasitis is right behind me, so I'm going to have to be quite careful that Dom doesn't get past. As you see, Jamie's really trying to overtake George Palmer-Mobsby. And I'm having to be careful of Dom behind me, because I know he is right behind me, so I want to try and keep this podium position. As you can see, he's thinking about one up the inside, but I'm going to have to go slightly defensive and hold him off. You see, Jamie Gooden really close to George, but George knows he's right behind, so he's going to go nice and smoothly around those edges and get a nice exit, so Jamie can't get past him really. And he's going to go defensive to hold off his position. And sort of through here, there's not really any overtaking opportunity, so I think George has got it in the bag now, and I've also got it in the bag. As they come around the last corner, and George actually takes the race win. Jamie Gooden second, and I come third. So decent racing from me, first and third. Nice to get my first ever win in the pre-final, but quite annoying in the final that the car and myself wasn't really quite on the pace, and we struggled to keep up with the drivers in front. But good racing, good points, and yeah, looking forward to the next round at PFI. So that was the final. Went okay, I guess. The car just didn't seem to have any bottom end speed, so coming out of the final chicane, just seemed to lose about 3 car lengths. But I did the best I could and managed to hold on to third. So good race, and hopefully, and yeah, good points, and should be still in second in the championship. So yeah, consistency is key. See you in the next one.